Hello, in this tutorial I am going to show you how to draw each of these pictures in iPad drawing editor. So you may find the concrete times, specific times of each of these figures in the description. So by the numbers you may choose the time. So first let me space them out and I will draw in this picture directly. They go from the easiest ones to more complicated, but they are not too hard. Alright, first, this is to use rectangles, so I will create a few rectangles, and each new rectangle is put on top of the previous drawn things, and I will turn on snapping this polyline and snap to this rectangle on the background, which will create this small part which functions as an overlay, so we have this figure. The second one tries to show how to create opacity, so I will create a circle. We will turn off the drawing and just leave the fill in, snap on the middle and on the edges, so we will be able to create this. And now I choose them all and select this opaqueness, put it to 50%, and we may change the color to arbitrary colors. Alright, that's opacity. Then how do we create simple graphs? So we just select these markers, create few vertices, and create edges with snapping to vertices, which is this feature. And I'm using left mouse button to create an edge and right mouse button to end an edge. I just want to know there's another tool, this one, which allows you to move these vertices together with their incident edges. Next figure, figure 4, shows that part of one shape is cut out by the other one. This is just a trick of the figure. So how do we do this? These shapes are these splingorns, or how is it pronounced? Alright, so we create these, put back opacity, and the trick here is to copy this one and create a really heavy edge which is white. Put it into background and put this even further into background. So we have now these, and these are two shapes. One is creating this boundary, and the other, well, we may group them so they are moved together with Ctrl G. So now we may even move it like this. Figure 5. Alright, so let me pick properties back, so we have the original setup, pick properties. Alright, for figure 5 we create a circle, we create this polyline with snapping to edges, and now snapping to the middle of the circle and intersections, I create arcs from this part to this part. Oh, this one isn't working well. Alright, good. And from this part to this part, I remove the inner part, the whole circle. Alright, copy this and join these polylines or lines or shapes into two distinct objects. And one of them will have fill in gold, and the second one will have fill in gray. And with snapping again, we can put them together. And to create this dashed shape, I copy the lower one, put the color of a fill to gold, and select a rising tiling pattern. So that's this. Oh, they are not aligned well. Alright, this should be fine. Okay, that's figure 5. Figure 8. That's just a play on radial coordinates, but I hope to show how they work. So first I create several lines from a common middle to be able to snap to them with angular tools. Now we may create these arcs. Oh, with snapping to edges and vertices. So here it snaps to vertex, here it snaps to edge. And remove fill. Okay, we create several of these. And now I remove these lines and connect these shapes with these small line segments. And now join all of these segments to one big path. We may now put that the inner part is filled, and when we try to snap to circle, it snaps to the circles of these arcs. So now what we may do is to copy this shape. With F1 we set this middle, and when we rotate, it rotates around this middle part. With E and Shift and Hold, I may make this thing smaller, and we may compose these paths to create one big object. Alright, so that's how to do this. And when we copy paste this again, rotate it a little bit, maybe make it smaller again. Fill it with gray and put it to background. We have something which resembles this. We may group it, and now it's one big object. With Ctrl F1 I remove this radial, and we have figure 6. Figure 7. So we start with circles, and we put one circle and one smaller circle, and similar to the last example, when you compose these you get a ring. And now with snapping to the middle of the circle and to edges and to intersections, I create these 3 copies. And the only part we really need, alright, I will change the fill first. The only different thing we now need is to create these parts so they are interconnected, and we can do this with these arcs again. So we create this arc, and from this middle this arc. And now how do we treat them? First remove the fill, then I shall copy them, join them into one shape to be able to create just a fill, put it to the background of these, and now I have this arc part. And these arcs should have a middle of a circle here, so I will snap to that and move it to this middle. And now it should, if I put it to foreground, it should fill in nicely. I copy it, put F1, the middle of the rotation, and rotate it here. And this should be more or less good. There is this small bug which could be removed. Oh, alright. If I move this here, oh, never mind. If I move this more here. Okay, that wasn't part of the plan, but you can change these parts so that they are good. All right. So that's figure number 7. The other figure number 8, starts from a circle again. And now we create some inner circles. I will do a slightly different figure than this one. So what shall we do? Well, okay, I will put a circle here, and again set the middle of the rotation, or maybe just create an arc here. That would be better. So arc, which ends here. And we have middle of the rotation, copy paste, and in goodies here we may rotate by 160 degrees. Now we may turn by 90, and last one we may turn precisely by 45. If we remove the original circle, now we have this somewhat nice figure. Figure 8 is about alignment. So first let me create this box. So with shift it will be, no. I think with shift it should be, yes. Alright, with shift it is a rectangle. Now we may create lines. For them to be horizontal, we select this option. And we may create some arbitrary lines. And now what I want to do is to space them evenly, which is in applets, distribute, and distribute vertically. And I also want them to be aligned to the center. So oh, never mind. This is also alignment, but that is horizontal center. And we remove snipping and position it as we want. Also, if we align this whole thing to a certain center, then the box shall be centered as well. Alright, figure 10. Something about math and stuff. So for these coordinate systems to be evenly spaced, we may base them again on a circle, snap to the middle, and create these lines from the middle perpendicular to the top, and from this crossing point to the bottom, snapping to edges. Remove this one. Alright. Copy, paste, rotate by 90 degrees, and we have this part. Next, we want few vertices, these two. So we just created them. Get edges to those vertices. And now create arcs from the middle. So snap to edges and create these parts. For the fill to be nice, what we need is to create polylines to connect them to full shapes. So first I will join paths in this one. Next I will create path from here to the middle and to the other end, and join paths here, put it to the background. And from here to the middle to this end. Again, join path, put it to the background. And now we may choose some opacity and different colors. To add some math, we select this tool and write the LaTeX of those symbols. So that's pi, this is alpha, and this is minus beta. I chose opacity before, so let's just make them fully opaque. Oh, sorry about that. Alright, so that's figure 10. Figure 11. So again, we use goodies here to create a regular polygon. So that's a regular k-gon, and this is a regular 8-gon. I will remove the fill for now, and first what we do is to create the second shape, which should be first on the same position. I will make it slightly bigger. Oh, this will work. This will not work well. I need to define a center. So I will put a marker here. It is just for the drawing things. Alright, I will set the middle here and make it slightly bigger. Move it down. Alright, now if they intersect here, after squeezing them, they will intersect in this picture as well, so I will move this slightly more down than it may seem to be necessary. And also I will create the appropriate edges, which will be in the final drawing. So now I'm basically drawing the spread out version of the final image. Perhaps remove these markers, they are possibly not needed anymore, and now we squeeze it. If I rotated this picture at the beginning, then it would be rotated as in here, but now I already screwed up a little bit, but let me just finish this. So we select these background edges and make them dashed. So that's, or dotted. And we would also want this background part here to be dotted, so I will edit the path, cut these vertices. So basically now there are two copies, there are two paths, one at the foreground, one at the background, and accept this. I will copy paste it, and from one copy I remove this subpath. From the other copy I remove this subpath. And now they are separated really. So there are these two distinct paths. I will make the background one dotted. And now it's almost finished. One weird thing which happened here is that, well, these are not connected lines. So this end looks ugly. What we may do is to just join these three paths, so this will look nicely. And if we want this fill, then we may just create these rectangles and fill them accordingly. If they are on the foreground, then you will not see them, but if you move them to the background, then you will see the color behind the drawing. So that's roughly how to create this 11. And the final picture is this 12. So here the vertices are small circles, contrary to the previous cases. And alright, let me just pick these properties and apply these properties here. And these are circles. There are several copies of these circles. And snapped to the middle, we created some edges. Now if we put the edges to the background, it will already look pretty nice. But one ugly thing which happens here is that you cannot move these vertices with this tool. It doesn't work well for this picture. So what I may do is to put an actual marker here and put it to the background. Now if I join these into group, then moving with this tool will allow me to move it nicely. Alright, so I may do this to each of these vertices to be able to move this graph nicely. Now how to create these parts? Well, just with arcs again. So we choose an arc, snap to edges and to the middle of circle. I create the final arc I will want. And why does it snap here? Oh, snap to the vertices. So this now snaps to the end of the previous arc. And create edges from endpoints to the middle and to the endpoint again. And now joining the path and changing the fill creates this effect. Here I will need to select this part. With space I can choose what I wanted to select actually. Alright, changing the inner part, and that's basically this effect. If I again create a marker here, put it to the background, choose these parts and group them, then I will be able to move it with this graph tool. Okay, that's it for this demonstration video of IPE. I hope you liked it. If so, then like this video, I guess. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment, and see you in the next one.